Welcome to episode 10 of the Magical Disneyland Paris podcast, all things magical and Disneyland Paris. I'm Andrew Williamson and I am joined by Simon West.
Hello.
Each Magical Disneyland Paris podcast will have a different focus, be it an attraction, restaurant or special element of the Disneyland Paris world. This episode we're changing it up completely and we're going to be discussing round 1 of the Disneyland Paris attraction polls that we have been running on Twitter since October 2015. We are here again, Simon. Oh. You're not saying anything after that?
Oh, I didn't realise I was meant to lead in with something there. Oh, this is exciting. We don't have an attraction this time. This is bewildering. This is new for me. I wasn't prepared for this, Andrew.
I know, the only time we've done this was when we looked at Disney Village, really, and we've done something slightly different there.
That's true. I suppose that's multiple attractions. And this is all of the attractions.
Everything.
All in one podcast. I mean, it could go on forever if we don't hold this together, Andrew.
It probably will. So I might have to text my wife and just say, yeah, I said I was going to be finished in an hour. It might take 2 days.
Yes, whoops. But anyway, yes, I have thoroughly enjoyed voting in this podcast, and many of the outcomes I agree with. Some of the outcomes have made me very sad. But we'll get on to that soon.
If you're not sure what we're talking about when we're talking about the attraction polls, if you're on Twitter, you've probably seen them by now. But if you're not on Twitter and you're following us on iTunes or you're on Facebook or just following our website, then you won't really know that we've been running an attraction poll since October 2015. We've been it's ever since the Twitter poll feature became active on Twitter. For some reason, the Magical DLP Twitter account was one of the first. I think it was the first in the Disneyland Paris community on Twitter to get that function. So we're quite lucky. I got in there straight away because everybody's going to ask what the favourite attractions are, and luckily nobody else has jumped in on this. So it's an exclusive in the Disneyland Paris community that you can vote with us on the best attraction currently available in Disneyland Paris. So what's going to happen is we're going to run through them. There is a page on our website which I'll give you at the end because I don't want you to spoil the fun and surprise if you don't know what the results are of each poll. We'll go through each attraction, each section of the round. Me and Simon will discuss what we would have voted for, or what we did vote for, and what the result was. So we'll jump straight in, and the first one that came out of the hat on the magical mystery random picker was Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin in Walt Disney Studios versus Mad Hatter's Teacups. Now, Simon, what would you have voted for and why?
Well, I believe I voted. I can't even remember, to be honest. This was a while ago, October last year. Crikey. Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin. It's nothing sort of mind blowing. Neither of them are particularly exciting attractions, to be frank. They're pretty stock standard. And I know Mad Hatter's Teacups is a sort of Disney staple. It's a classic, in a Fantasyland. But I just think Slinky Dog Spin is. In fact, I think it's the only attraction that I've ever bothered to go on in Toy Story Playland. So
really,
I feel like I have some sort of connection to it.
Well,
the other ones always have too big queues for what they are, and half-pipe coasters, they tend to make me feel a bit nauseous.
No stamina. I think I voted for Mad Hatter's Teacups. Again, like you mentioned, it's a classic. It's a staple of Disneyland parks. One reason. Go on.
I know why I didn't vote for it.
Go on.
I can't fit in it.
You can't fit in it?
Can't fit in the teacups.
How tall are you?
I'm about 6 foot.
Well, I always say I'm 6 foot.
In fairness, there was 4 of us who were all 6 foot in my family in there last time, and it just didn't work. I'd like larger teacups.
Last time I went on it, there was 3 of us, well, 2 and a little small child. So there was plenty of room. I did vote for Mad Hatter's Teacups. The reason being, Zigzag Spin does go around, similar to the teacups, but I just don't like the fact that the Zigzag Spin was really, really short.
It is quite short, but there's always that fun effect, though, where it goes around quite fast, you're going around up and down, and then everyone slides to the outside. So
that is true.
If you put,
But depending on how fast
fairly skinny me on the outside, and then my dad, who's much larger than I am, then I just squash. It's hilarious. Safety, no, but very fun.
You can make the teacups go quite fast though, can't you? If you spin on that plate in the middle.
Well, yeah, we tried that, but we kept smacking into our knees.
So there we go. We need to make a request to Disneyland Paris to make an extra large teacup for Simon West and his family.
Thank you, Disney.
The actual result was Mad Hatter's Teacups was the winner with 73% of the vote to 27 of the Slinky Dog Zigzag Spin.
A fairly commanding lead.
It is. Next up was the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror versus Alice's I can't even say it, Curious Labyrinth. I'll go first. It's obvious what I would vote for. Tower of Terror, and I'm not even going to explain why.
No, I don't think it needs to be explained why. I also voted Tower of Terror, of course. You know, the theming's amazing. If you want to know why we love Tower of Terror, we've done a whole podcast on it. We talked for about 2 hours. We could have talked for a lot longer, so go and listen to that if you've got many hours of your life to kill. I mean, it's a bit unfair to try and compare Tower of Terror with a maze. I mean, the maze is quite fun. You get to climb up a tower at the end, but, you know, you don't get dropped anywhere from it.
Well, I would make the labyrinth quite exciting if you did.
You would. You'd have to put a height restriction on it, though.
You could be dropped from the castle that's in the middle of the maze or whatever it's supposed to be. You could be dropped from there, couldn't you?
Queen of Hearts could jump out, grab you by the leg, and just drop you down.
Pull you down.
This sounds quite violent now that I think about it, actually.
Well, Tower of Terror's pulled down, as we found out from our episode. Can't remember what number it was now. Was it 7? Something like that. So we could do the same there. She could pull you down into the maze. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you were smoking. If you caught smoking on the top of the... is it a castle? It's her castle, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
suppose so.
We'll say it is. If she catches you smoking up there, she'll pull you down. The winner, not surprisingly really, was with 76% of the results. It was Twilight Zone Tower of Terror.
I have to say, I would have expected it to have got a higher percentage of the vote, actually.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
That's just over 3/4. But, you know...
Do you feel some people are put off from going on the Tower of Terror anywhere? Or is it because it's a new, in quotation marks, attraction compared to a Disneyland Paris classic? It's been there since the opening day. So do you think some more die-hard fans have voted for that rather than the Tower of Terror?
Well, I don't know. I mean, we in our podcast episode on Tower of Terror, we described it as a modern classic, and I really think it is.
That's true.
You've probably hit the nail on the head there when you said that it's a very scary attraction, and some people don't want to go on it.
Next up, we're going through this really quickly. It's Autopia versus Peter Pan's Flight. You go first.
I've never been on Autopia, so I couldn't vote for it. I feel bad about saying that.
Actually, I've watched people going on it, but I've never myself been on it.
It's the queue again. I've been on the one in America, which was great fun, and I can remember being on the one in America while the fireworks were going off, and my sister kept getting distracted by the fireworks, and they're just zigzagging all over the place. It was very funny. But no, I've never actually done the one in Paris because it's just such a massive queue for what it is. So yes, Peter Pan's Flight for me. It's a cracking little ride, the perspective, and then flying over London with all the lights, and then diving into Skull Rock and the like. A little bit jerky, but it's a Disney staple classic, and it's a very, very enjoyable, cute ride.
Yeah, my vote was with Peter Pan's Flight. Again, it's quite short. When I think about it when I'm not in the parks, I think, wow, it's amazing. I would love to go on that attraction, and you kind of forget how short the attraction actually is. So if you catch it at the right time of day, and there's not much of a queue, it's definitely something I would do every time I visit.
But equally, just fast pass it, which is, I think,
that is true.
I've only ever fast passed it, actually.
But then obviously sometimes you want to make use of, well, you need to plan your day around when you're putting your fast pass in to get your tickets out. And if I was going to pick, it probably wouldn't come high up on my list of attractions that I would want to get a fast pass for.
That's very true. Also, extra magic hours, though, of course.
That's true. That's probably the last few times I've used
extra magic hours.
Yeah. So Peter Pan's Flight did win with 80% of the vote compared to 20% from Autopia. Peter Pan's Flight is, for younger audiences, I would say it's quite scary a little bit, like the Snow White one, really, because it's a dark ride, and it's quite jerky and flying through the different scenes.
It is quite dark. It's certainly not as dark as Pinocchio.
Pinocchio, no, that's right.
Snow White.
So yeah, 8%. That's what I expected, really. Again, It's a classic. Next up, got on the fourth attraction vote, Big Thunder Mountain versus Casey Jr. Le Petit Train du Cirque.
Yes, two roller coasters coming up against each other. I always
What are the
forget
chances?
Casey Jr. exists as a roller coaster.
Well, it's just
but I suppose it is a roller coaster, isn't it?
It's a mini Big Thunder Mountain.
Yeah, exactly. It's just a little one. I mean, it's a nasty one for them to come together in round one, because I think Big Thunder Mountain is. Frankly, I think Big Thunder Mountain will probably win the whole thing, just because of the scale of it and how much of an enjoyable attraction it is. You can listen to our podcast and find out how much we love Big Thunder Mountain. But yeah, no, it's a difficult one, because Casey Jr. I always think is quite cute going around the storybook boats. But of course, my vote had to go with Big Thunder Mountain.
Well, it's obvious. I was always going to vote Big Thunder Mountain, even though I've got a really great experience of Casey Jr. My wife and my son were sitting it was towards the back of the train, the back of the carriages, and I was in, what was it called now? It's like, I can't remember the name of it now. It's a brake wagon, I think, or something towards the back of the train. But because they were sitting together and there was only me on my own, I was basically in the back facing towards the back, so I was going backwards on Casey Jr. And it was so surreal, because there was obviously no train in front of me, there was nothing, just empty track, and lots of people standing there watching this 27 or 8-year-old man just sitting there on his own, going backwards on Casey Jr. So that was quite entertaining, but still wasn't enough to get my vote against Big Thunder Mountain. And again, no surprises really. It was a runaway for Big Thunder Mountain with 88% versus 12% for Casey Jr. So Big Thunder Mountain went through to round 2. Next up, Disneyland Railroad versus Art of Disney Animation.
Well, again, I think it's sort of a no-brainer, really. Had to go with Disneyland Railroad. Again, staple of a Disneyland park. And it's got some lovely scenes. The emergence into Frontierland is particularly nice. The artwork in the sort of Frontierland tunnely bit as well. Then, of course, whiz back round past Indiana Jones, and then you go through the caves and you get to see Pirates of the Caribbean going around the final scene. That's lovely.
It's amazing.
Discoveryland is a real shame, because that station is so ugly. But anyway, it's always an enjoyable attraction.
Yeah, the Art of Disney Animation didn't get my vote, so it was Disneyland Railroad. But every year I go into the Art of Disney Animation and think, why did I come in here again? It is something I would definitely recommend doing, especially if you've got an interest in the old animated classics of Disney. We always take our students in there because it's one of the excuses we give for going on the trip, so that the students who are doing animation and media and ICT and those kind of subject areas, they can go in there and learn about different animation techniques. Because obviously in the pre-show area, you've got all the different pieces of artwork and hardware of the equipment that they actually used in some of the animation classics. So for that reason, that's why we still go to it all the time. And only 16% of people who voted on Twitter voted for Art of Disney Animation, making Disneyland Railroad the winner with 84%. I'll let you take charge of these next ones.
Yeah, of course.
We'll split it up a bit, just make it fair, equal opportunities and everything like that.
Of course. So next up, we've got, really some big dogs of Fantasyland facing off against each other.
Big dogs.
Snow White versus It's a Small World. I personally think quite a difficult one, actually, because I like sort of the old-fashioned dark rides. You don't see that many of them anymore, and I can't imagine many of them will get made. But then It's a Small World, also proper classic. I mean, it's on the right-hand side of Fantasyland, that's such a huge part with its massive facade and incredibly annoying soundtrack.
It is. I
can't remember. I think It's a Small World got my vote though, just because it's bigger, really.
Well, when it was hard to decide, I don't think it was too hard on this one actually, this vote, but I always had to think in the back of my head, which one would I personally miss from the parks the most if it was to be wiped from the park completely? And Snow White, I've done it every time I go on just about, and I do like it. I love the dark ride effect. Like I said before, it's quite scary. Well, it's Pinocchio that's quite scary, but even this one, still a little bit scary for younger children. But then, It's a Small World. Obviously, it's just reopened after the refurbishment, and they're still adding slowly more characters and more doors as we go on. But when I last rode that attraction before our It's a Small World podcast last year, it wasn't being well looked after. So in my head I was thinking, oh, it's run down, it's not working very well, it's kind of a poor relation of the It's a Small World family. But like you say, the facade, the size of it, if it was wiped from the history of Disneyland Paris, there would be a big hole, and I don't think that we would miss Snow White as much. That's my personal opinion.
I think you're probably right there. And indeed, Twitter agrees with you. It's a Small World won with 75% to just 25% Snow White. And a very different competition next, I suppose. Rock and Roller Coaster. Which, is that our first? Oh, no, it's not our first in the Walt Disney Studios Park.
No.
Rock and Roller Coaster versus Orbitron. Very different attractions.
I was quite surprised with the outcome of this, actually.
Do you think? I'm not. Which one did you go for, then? Which one?
I would have voted Rock and Roller Coaster.
What a surprise.
Because I love... Well, to be honest, I've probably mentioned this loads of times now on Twitter and on our podcast, but because of my first ever visit to Disneyland Paris, I wasn't really a roller coaster fan at all. So being dragged on to two indoor roller coasters in Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster, I was tempted by not knowing where I was going, just sitting in the train and just going off. And I loved it so much that that's probably why I'm a Disneyland Paris fan today, because of those attractions. So it had to be one that went through for me. But the reason I say I was surprised is because, again, Orbitron, it's a monument to Discoveryland. With Space Mountain and Orbitron together, I don't know, it just makes Discoveryland for me. So I thought there would have been a few more votes for that, actually.
Well, I think I completely agree with that. You know, it's that gorgeous Victorian retro futuristic theming that we all know and love about Discoveryland. It's why Discoveryland is better than Tomorrowland. But at the end of the day, that's another attraction that I can't fit in.
Sorry.
It's not funny, Andrew. Anyway,
well,
it was a landslide.
I'm very similar height to you, because I'm just probably like maybe half an inch smaller than you, but my legs must be a lot smaller. I must have a really tall body.
So I just couldn't fit my legs in. Have
you not tried one leg in, one leg out?
I might do that next time, or I might go sort of head first in, legs out.
Or spread your legs across both sides so they don't actually go in the rocket on Orbitron.
So what, just sort of straddle it?
You'd have to try and squeeze in for like when liftoff happens, but as soon as it started, pop out.
And then there'd be someone downstairs with a megaphone.
You don't speak French, do you? It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Anyway, yes, Rock and Roller Coaster won 90% to 10%. That's commanding. That's our biggest win so far from round one. So far, yes. And next up, Pirates of the Caribbean versus Peter Pan's Flight. Now this actually is quite a commanding win again, and I didn't expect it. I thought this one would be much closer than it is. Which one did you go for?
I went for Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, so did I.
It looks like our rival, Steve, from Dedicated to DLP, it looks like he's probably just registered about 500 Twitter accounts for this poll.
Keep voting.
And he's just voted Pirates of the Caribbean for every single account.
Yeah, Pirates of the Caribbean won 85%, Peter Pan 15%. I have to say, I think that's a bit surprising because, Peter Pan's Flight is it's an enjoyable attraction.
Yeah, I thought there would have been more fans of Peter Pan's Flight out there. It'd be interesting because we haven't really not much discussions happening around these Twitter polls. A lot of people are discussing things slightly, but it'd be really interesting for some feedback to which one did you vote for? If you did vote for Peter Pan's Flight over Pirates of the Caribbean, would you let us know? Firstly, so we can give your address to Steve from Dedicated DLP, so we can come round and sort you out. But after that, just so we can actually work out what makes Pirates of the Caribbean so much better than Peter Pan's Flight. I know what my answer is. If it was wiped off the face of the park, then the whole Pirates of the Caribbean leaves in Adventureland, and the history around it would be so big compared to Peter Pan's Flight, which again, I know it sounds bad saying it, but it is another dark ride, and even though there's less and less of those in the parks now, it's something we could do without if the other ones were still there.
Well, certainly compared to Pirates of the Caribbean. I tell you what though, Andrew, do you ever get a sense of deja vu when you're talking about Peter Pan's Flight in this episode of the podcast?
But yeah, there's been a massive error on my part, Simon. I apologise for this, but Peter Pan's Flight has, for some reason, came up twice on the voting. Maybe I could get away with saying that it was on purpose. I put it in on purpose, and nobody noticed it.
Well, I didn't notice it.
I know. Well, I didn't
just
notice
now.
it. Nobody's tweeted us saying Peter Pan's Flight's been in there twice. So my spreadsheet's wrong. The website's wrong. Twitter's wrong. All I can think that happened is Steve from Dedicated DLP has sabotaged our poll somehow and has managed to get Pirates of the Caribbean through to the next round by sabotaging this. So all we'll say is it's the vote stands anyway, because Peter Pan's Flight went through with Autopia, and Pirates of the Caribbean knocked Peter Pan's Flight out the second time round anyway. So it doesn't really change much, but all it does mean is I'll have to double check the polls very carefully before sending them out in round 2. So
you will do indeed. Well, what I find interesting now, where does that put Pirates of the Caribbean relative to Autopia? Because Autopia was destroyed in the vote 80-20 by Peter Pan, but now Peter Pan's been in turn destroyed by Pirates of the Caribbean 85-15. So
would that have mean it should have been
99-1?
99-1, yeah. That's probably as much as it could have been. So yeah, our opinions still stand. It would have been Pirates of the Caribbean. Pirates kept trying its best, and it's got through anywhere. I'm surprised it wasn't Autopia that tried another attempt at sneaking in there.
Quick drop in.
Unless you've got a bet on with Betfred or Bet365 or other betting providers who are available, then you're not going to lose sleep over that slight error.
If you are betting on this, please let us know. It'll be hilarious.
Yeah. Well,
unless you lose, obviously.
Exactly. First of all, which bookie would actually accept bets for some random Twitter poll anyway?
Well, it's a very important Twitter poll.
Of course. So apart from that error, which we won't mention anymore, we'll move straight on unless we find another error. We'll go to Ratatouille the Adventure, but this was a big one because it was versus Star Tours. Now,
so
this is hard for you because
painful,
you still haven't been on
Ratatouille yet, but Star Tours is my favourite simulator and is definitely in my top 3 of my favourite attractions. Obviously, that does mean I have to go with Star Tours, really. I love it. Love everything about it. I'm so excited for Star Tours 2. Multiple destinations. C-3PO flying the ship now. Should be so much fun.
I'm definitely looking forward to that. I haven't changed my mind. I did vote for Ratatouille the Adventure. Even though
you regret that now?
Well, now you've said how much you love it and it's your third favourite simulator, and I did go on it again, and I'm planning on, when I go at the end of February, I want to go on it one last time because that would be my last chance to get onto it as it is before it changes.
Give it a nice round of applause at the end and make everyone turn and think that you're weird.
Well, at the meetings I've been doing with the students before this trip, I've been basically bigging Star Tours up, telling them that it is its last journey.
The last one.
So I'll be telling them all to clap and cheer and start a chant probably.
And
Star Tours. Then we'll get kicked off. But that's fine.
But it's fine. It would have finished at the end, presumably, unless you do that at the start, which would be weird.
Yeah, we'll do it, but I'll do it all the way through. We won't really. But yeah, the reason I did vote for Ratatouille the Adventure was, again, it's brand new. Well, it was brand new for me when I went last time, a year ago. I had Jeff from DLP Town Square. He was kind of my tour guide, so he was pointing out so many little things that in the queue area and on the attraction that you probably won't notice unless you ride it like 10 times and do loads of research. So for me, it just brings back so many great memories. And Star Tours, because it is just kind of one technology at the moment, and it's 2D, even though it is the original, and a lot of people are probably going to kill me for saying that I voted for Ratatouille over Star Tours, but yeah, it's for me, even though I love them both, Ratatouille was the winner. And it was the winner from, spoilers, it was the winner from the people who voted on Twitter as well.
Yeah, 68-32 in favour of Ratatouille. In defence of Ratatouille, after I've, bigged up Star Tours, it is a really important thing that happened in the Walt Disney Studios Park. That's always been the lesser parks. The theming's never been up to the standard of the other park. No. But the whole area, not just the attraction, but La Place de Remy is gorgeous by all accounts. So that is a very, very important thing for Walt Disney Studios. So I suppose, given that, maybe it should have won.
Yeah, because if one thing or one attraction or one area is going to stay, if they ever redevelop Walt Disney Studios, then it's obviously going to be the Ratatouille Place de Remy. So it's got to be up there. I'm surprised at how much it won by, 68%. So it's nearly 70% of the votes. I did feel that it probably, even if I expected, or not expected, even if I wanted Ratatouille to win, I did think it would be closer to more like 55%, something like that. So it's quite a big win, really, for Ratatouille.
It is, all things considered. Anyway, next up, we have Dumbo, the Flying Elephant, versus Armageddon, l'effet spécial.
This was such an amazing poll.
Oh, I think so. I have to say, I'm pretty sure I remember voting Armageddon just because I could, just because I knew.
Really?
Everyone else hates it. I don't think it's that bad. I like standing in a room and having a massive bit of fire thrown at me.
See, Martin Walker has recently been to Disneyland Paris a few times and went onto the attraction again recently and posted on Twitter that it wasn't as bad as he remembered. And then a few other people have climbed out of the woodwork in Twitter and have said, well, actually, yeah. And I was one of them. I have slated it in the past, and I have done the attraction. I didn't do it last time, but a couple of years ago, I remember forcing myself to go on it again. And the actual attraction itself, once you've went through the pre-show area, isn't that bad. Obviously, it's not that exciting to have to want to face the pre-show area. But I think to me, it is the pre-show area that does kill it really. Sitting in a room for an hour watching a video in different languages, talking about the film and special effects and stuff like that. Maybe on a DVD, if you're at home on a rainy day and you want to watch the extra footage on the Armageddon film, it wouldn't be too bad. But for wanting to get into the attraction and get all the effects and the rumbling of the spaceship and the flames in your face and stuff like that bit isn't too bad, but yeah, it's a pre-show that kills it.
And of course, Dumbo, Flying Elephant, proper Disneyland classic. Had to win. Really?
It did. Yeah, don't they have... I might just be making this up for some reason, but do they have more than one of these in America in the same park, or am I making that up? I think I'm making that up.
I think California might have 2 of them.
That's how popular it is.
Yeah. Mind you, on saying that, I think Soarin' in Epcot is about to get duplicated, so it does happen.
Yeah, and there's in Toy Story Mania has 2 separate...
That's got 2 tracks, I believe they're building another one in Florida. They're going to add a 3rd track because it's so popular.
There we go. So Dumbo must be up there because it's got 2 in one park already.
Exactly. And of course it did win fairly commandingly, 78-22. To be honest, I think Armageddon getting 22% of the vote is... Well, that's amazing. It's not bad. Maybe it's just me and Martin. Just, yeah, Armageddon, let's go.
Have you got multiple accounts as well?
Ooh, maybe I do. At Armageddon Lover.
There we go. Hashtag Armageddon Love.
Yeah.
I feel we should be dead. Maybe on not Valentine's Day. On April Fool's Day, I think we should bring out Armageddon podcast episode.
I think we should do.
Well, because the Imagineers probably only ever worked on one attraction, which is Armageddon. Is probably sitting there waiting for somebody to ring his phone and interview him about that attraction.
Yep.
So we need to find out who that person was. And make their year, make their life.
Talk to him about lots of fire in a room.
Or her.
Oh, her, yeah. It's very true. I'm pretty sure, though, I've seen a video about the lead designer. Yeah, somewhere. And I'm pretty sure he was a chap.
Get him
Unless
in.
I'm wrong.
Get him in.
Get him in, yeah.
Buzz Lightyear versus Toy Soldiers. Toy Soldiers parachute drop. Never actually done the parachute drop.
Nor have I, and I hate it. Absolutely hate it. It's the one thing I would get rid of without a shadow of a doubt. I don't care how much people love it. I don't care if it gets massive queues. It's so ugly.
Get a chainsaw.
Disney, it's about beautiful aesthetics. Disneyland Paris is arguably the most beautiful of all the Disneyland parks. Why would you have that on the skyline? It's just this huge metal tube with army camouflage on it.
Wow. Some people would probably say the same thing about Buzz Lightyear in Discoveryland.
Well, that's true. Yeah, massive plastic.
Doesn't
Buzz
really
Lightyear in
doesn't really go, does it?
Gorgeous Jules Verne gorgeous Nautilus submarine. Buzz Lightyear in plastic.
So
equally, though, Discoveryland Station looks exactly like that.
Just
it happens.
It's just a big bit of white, isn't it? There's not much there.
Yeah.
A bit of white cardboard.
Yeah, and also they might say that because, of course, Buzz Lightyear replaced Le Visionarium, which was quite a popular attraction.
True. I would have voted, well, I did vote for Buzz Lightyear. There's nothing better than going on with different people at different times you visit the park and trying to beat their score. Even though,
their butts on the score.
Because you know where all the special targets are in the ceilings, in the walls that are hidden, and even though you still come out winning them or beating them, you're miles behind the people in the car in front and the car behind, and everybody else who posts on Twitter and Facebook. So you don't share that. You don't share the score normally, but you don't mind bragging to somebody who's just went on the attraction for the first time. That's what I found anyway.
Yeah, actually, I genuinely haven't seen many people sharing their scores on Buzz Lightyear.
Really?
Do that. That would be. I'd like to see that more.
If you want to see that, you need to send them directly to Simon on Twitter. If you want to remind people your Twitter handle.
Just tag me in at SimCity West.
SimCity West. I don't want to see them, but Simon West would love to be inundated with thousands of images of Buzz Lightyear scores.
Yeah.
The reason I don't want to be reminded is because mine will be the lowest on the list, probably.
Yeah.
Because my highest score was from when the attraction was stopped, probably to let a disabled guest on. Because obviously they stopped the attraction conveyor belt, but they let you still fire at the targets. So we were there.
I thought they stopped the scoring system.
No. Well, they didn't one time I was there, and I was there. We were stuck for about 10 minutes, and I just kept firing at the exact same target, and it was a very, very high scoring target, and I got a very high score.
Lucky man.
But we might discuss that in a future podcast.
Ooh.
Because we can crack open the Toy Story soundtrack album.
Oh, that sounds good.
No copyright infringement intended.
Buzz Lightyear did, of course, win 95% to Toy Soldier's Parachute Drop, with only 5% because it's so ugly and horrible. Roar.
So that means that Toy Story Soldier's Parachute Drop is officially, according to Magical DLP fans, worse than Armageddon.
Yes, I hope everyone would agree with that.
And actually, so far, that is the worst. That's the biggest loss of an attraction so far.
It is. So far.
So far.
Next up, Disney Dreams versus Jedi Academy. 2 shows. Which one did you go for, Andrew?
I haven't seen Jedi Academy. Won't see it this time round because it's actually down for refurbishment. I don't know how you can refurbish characters. I think they're bringing in Yoda, I've heard. But it's down when I'm going next time, so I probably won't ever see it. I can't take part because I'm not like a 12-year-old. So Disney Dreams has to be the one for me.
Of course. I mean, let's be honest. How many shows could top Disney Dreams? I mean, it's even in terms of spectaculars, it's amazing. We fanned over it so much in the podcast on Disney Dreams.
Projection mapping.
Exactly. It's fantastic. And it won 97% to 3%.
So Jedi Academy is now officially the worst attraction according to Magical DLP fans.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, I think, it was a pretty unfair challenger to come up against in Disney Dreams. I'm sure Jedi Academy is absolutely wonderful, and if you can take part, all the better. I wish they'd do an adult version because I'd so get involved in that. But nonetheless, Disney Dreams, it's the goodnight kiss at the end of the day. It's fantastic. It had to win, and maybe after a score like that, it will go on to win the entire thing. Ooh.
Possibly. Some people might argue that it shouldn't be on the list of attractions. Does it class as an attraction in the sense of like going and queuing, because you don't really queue for it other than waiting around?
Yeah, you don't queue for Jedi Academy. You don't really queue for Armageddon. No one wants to go on it. Although you do have to sit through the pre-show, as you say.
So we accept it. It's on our list. It won 97%.
We love it anyway. It's so good.
We do. This one is for NIDLP Geek. Phantom Manor versus Nautilus.
I have to say, I think I might have voted Nautilus just out of sort of pity, because it's very beautifully themed. I love it. You see the submarine on the outside, and then you head down the stairs and go inside. It's gorgeously themed. It's got the Jules Verne retro-futuristic stuff. I love it. It's fantastic.
If
However, of course, Phantom Manor is it's the staple. It holds together Frontierland. You walk in, you turn to your left, and you see it there, rising up in the distance, looking imposing and spooky.
It's currently the only thing in Frontierland that's open. So without it, we would have been stuck.
Unfortunately, I think it is.
I obviously voted for Phantom Manor, but I feel that if Nautilus came up against some of the other attractions that we've discussed, it probably would have got through to round 2. So it's just unfortunate that it has came up across a biggie in the Disneyland Paris world. Phantom Manor won 95% of the votes compared to 5, so it's still pretty good, decent compared to Jedi Academy.
Yeah, unfortunately that ranks it down there with Toy Soldier's parachute drop, which I think is unfair. But then again, equally, Phantom Manor's very good. Didn't stand a chance.
Always going to win that one. I'd be very surprised. Well, depends what happens in round 2, but it's one of those that you would hope that would get through to the latter stages of the competition, depending on what it comes against in the next round.
Well, I would certainly expect to see Phantom Manor there, up with Pirates of the Caribbean.
You would have said that about Space Mountain as well.
Let's not talk about that, Andrew.
Studio Tram Tour Behind the Magic versus Discoveryland Theatre. The amazing theatre that it is.
I don't know what there is to say about this one.
Should we just move on?
Well, I obviously I voted Tram Tour. Discoveryland Theatre, frankly, it's not an attraction. Showing sneak peeks of a film, I don't consider that an attraction.
I think what it should show is DLRP fans' videos from the park. It should just show them on loop. That would pull more people in to Discoveryland Theatre than
I think it would.
sneak peeks. Or they could play
particularly if it was
audio.
like a live feed.
You could go and sit there and listen to podcasts such as ours in the theatre.
Exactly. Then you can have your podcast selfie.
There you go.
Just up on the screen.
Yeah.
Maybe even in 3D.
Wow, just imagine that. My big nose coming through the screen.
Crikey.
Well, they'll still have all the air cannons from Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, surely.
So what, to wake people up there?
Well, if it's in
snoozing away at this podcast, and then, what happened?
If my nose is sticking out of the screen in 3D, then I just need to sniff on them, blow on them, and be snot and air effect coming towards them. There you go, interactive podcast theatre.
There we are. We've just improved Discoveryland Theatre.
Well,
Studio Tram Tour, though, I think it's going to be changed pretty soon in a refurbishment.
I am looking forward to seeing what they do.
Catastrophe Canyon, I still think is very good.
Yeah,
it's a very impressive feat of technology. The other bits,
if Catastrophe Canyon was its own attraction, I probably would rate.
I'd probably rate it higher than Studio Tram Tour.
But I've heard that they're putting in props from Star Wars.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. So Marvel
that's
IP.
what So if they do all of that, then they're definitely it's gonna improve it. Also, the videos need to be synced up better. Last time I was on there, if you got into a tram, one of them, the video might not work in one tram, or it worked but it wasn't synced up. So you were driving past some props and it was talking about explosions. So again. If it was against any other attraction, maybe I would have been surprised by the 82% that Studio Tram Tour won or beat Discoveryland Theatre by. But again, 18% for Discoveryland Theatre. I don't know if these people are just voting for it because they hate Tram Tour so much, or are they voting for it like you did before just because they could.
Well, exactly. I just Discoveryland Theatre. It's a non-attraction.
Yeah, because 18% is quite high, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is fairly high.
Right, I'll introduce this next one so you can get your tissues from the tissue box. Space Mountain Mission 2 versus Sleeping Beauty Castle. It's quite a big vote, this one. Big attraction line, head-to-head smash-up.
I don't want to talk about this, Andrew. I just don't want to talk about it. Space Mountain Mission 2 is my favourite attraction. But then again, Sleeping Beauty's Castle is like the everything of Disneyland.
It is. It's based, well, whenever you ask people about it or talk to people, even if they haven't been to it before, they know of Disneyland or Disney parks having a castle, a focal point.
And they've probably seen a picture of this gorgeous pink castle with blue turrets, but then Space Mountain with a cannon and everything.
Oh. To be honest, I'm not going to lie to you and all the listeners out there. I was tempted to redo the random poll when I picked the attractions head to head. I thought, oh, Space Mountain's going to have a hard time beating Sleeping Beauty Castle, and I was so close to picking or pressing that button again just to get another random draw, but I didn't, for the fairness of the competition, even though we had 2 Peter Pans in there before, but that's something we won't discuss again. So yeah, sadly, as you probably guessed already, Sleeping Beauty Castle did win, and I say sadly because I would have voted for Space Mountain.
I did vote for Space Mountain.
Yeah, because it is my favourite attraction.
I love it, Andrew. I can't believe it's gone.
And I can't wait to ride it in February. Anyway, so yeah, it's gone. It's Sleeping Beauty Castle. If you said at the start though, Sleeping Beauty Castle would go for it round 2, you wouldn't be surprised at that. But you would be surprised that Space Mountain wouldn't get into round 2.
Very unfortunate lineup. 63% to 37%. So one of the closer votes we've had so far, actually.
It is. So it does show that some people were undecided. And again, if we've got more general fans who have been voting on Twitter, because obviously this poll would come up under feeds, not just of people who follow our Twitter account, but anybody who's on Twitter could also get into it. So maybe those that don't have the experience of visiting the parks may have went for that one just because that's the one they knew the most. I'm trying to back up the reason why people voted one over the other, but again, it's such a hard one to go to decide.
Well, I think, as you say, though, which, if you removed one of them from the park, well, Space Mountain actually wasn't there when the park opened.
That is true.
If you removed Sleeping Beauty's castle, then, well, would remove the centre of the park.
Yeah, I don't
come
think
into Main Street, and it would be rubbish.
It wouldn't be Disneyland Paris if that wasn't there. So I wouldn't change my vote because it's not going to get rid of one of them. But yeah, I can see why people definitely voted for Sleeping Beauty Castle.
Indeed.
Main Street Vehicles versus Crush's Coaster.
Well,
still haven't done Crush's Coaster because of the lovely queue.
It's it's quite a long queue. It's generally 40 minutes is about you.
And
the shortest you'll ever queue for Crush's Coaster.
My aim for February is to go on Crush's Coaster, but I probably won't get onto it.
And you should go on it. It's is it worth 40 minutes? I don't know. It's got a lovely sort of opening sequence though. You fling around outside, and then you go through a bit of a dark ride with Nemo and his friends, and that's all very nicely themed. I love that bit. Once you're actually going around the roller coaster, okay, fine, not the best themed in the world, but it's a spinning coaster. It is very fun. The queuing system is exceptionally boring. However, it is, to my knowledge, the only Disney attraction has a smartphone game designed for its queuing system. That does show how boring
I forgot about that.
The queuing system is. But nonetheless, it's a roller coaster and it's good fun. Main Street Vehicles is it's a side thing. It's not a. Is it a real attraction? I suppose.
Well,
so,
according to Disneyland Paris website, according to DisneylandParis.com, it is. So is horse-drawn streetcars, which will be coming up later.
I did. I forgot they were separate things, to be honest. But yes. Anyway, I mean, for me, there was only one choice. Which one did you vote though?
Well, even though I haven't done it, I would have voted for Crush's Coaster because I still want to try and get onto it. So if they'd got rid of it, I would have been so annoyed that it disappeared before I might actually get onto the attraction.
That's very true, and 3/4 of people agree with us. Crush's Coaster 75% versus just 1/4 for Main Street Vehicles.
Princess Pavilion versus Disney Junior Live. Have you done either of these, Simon?
No.
Why not?
Disney Junior Live used to be something else, didn't it?
Playhouse Disney. So it was very similar.
No, maybe I'm thinking of something else. Either way, no, I've done neither of them.
Was that the one where it was the Disney Channel studio when they actually had the live Disney Channel from France broadcasting from there?
That could be, actually. Because I know I've been in that building where it is.
You could do a tour of the live broadcast, I think.
Yes, you could do. And I did that. But that's not in this poll, so that's irrelevant. But yeah, no, I've done neither. So
what did you vote for then?
What
did you vote for? What would you vote for, even though you've done neither?
I don't know. Probably the Princess Pavilion, just because I know everyone loves seeing a good princess.
Do you love seeing a good princess?
I genuinely don't think I have, actually, ever. Oh no, actually, I think I did once in the restaurant by the castle. I believe there are princesses in there, and I did get some pictures with them and my sister. But other than that, generally, if I see a character and there's a queue, which there always is, if it's a princess, then forget about it.
There we go. Yeah, I voted for Disney Junior Live. Because
What?
That's the only one I've done, and it's a personal reason because my son loved he still likes him actually. He loved at the time Jake and the Neverland Pirates. He also liked Sophia the First as well, and even though they weren't involved in the main show, they were introduced in the pre-show. So Jake came out and Sophia came out, who were from two of the shows on Disney Junior, and they danced around and he got to interact with them more than he did most other characters, apart from when we went to Inventions for an evening meal. So just remember him having so much fun. Then we went inside Disney Junior Live, and there was puppets of the different Mickey Mouse characters, so on, and he didn't really enjoy that as much. So the pre-show actually got my vote for that one over anything else.
Interesting. A pre-show wins.
There we go. If only that pre-show was in Armageddon, you get loads of people queuing up for that.
Well, exactly. But of course, though, the overall show, including the pre-show, it didn't win.
No.
Did it? Princess Pavilion, of course, won. 71% versus 29%. I thought it would have been higher than that. People love their Princess Pavilion. That gets some big, big queues.
It does. The next one, I say similar type of attraction. To me, they're classed as walkthroughs.
I would call them both walkthroughs, yeah.
La Cabane de Robinson versus Le Patience Enchanté d'Aladdin.
That is fantastic French, Andrew.
Well, I got to see, so should be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very close result, this. Again, that's the Robinson Treehouse is one I haven't actually managed to walk through or up yet. Keep banging my microphone because I'm so excited. Aladdin, no. Everyone walks through it. Probably.
Do you think?
Well,
I think most people would miss it, to be honest.
Well, I'll walk. Well, maybe it's because I know it's there, but I do like to. If I'm on my way to something and I go through Adventureland, I walk through it. Do you not go through it at least once in your visit?
Oh, I'll visit it once in a visit, definitely.
Because it doesn't take you. You can either run through it if you want, or you can take your time if you're going to meet somebody, or you've got a few seconds to kill. You can always go through there. I don't know. It's something that I think that most people would do.
Well, I would hope most people would, because it's got some nice little tableaus in there. I have to say, I don't think it's anywhere near as good as the Robinson Treehouse, though. I mean, you have not been on it. And,
I haven't, so that's probably why I can't
you're
say.
You're a fool because of that, because you do get some fantastic views at the top. Last time I was there, it was in a real state. There should be water features going around. There should be lots of props lying around, but it was in a state. It was all. It didn't look good, but nonetheless, it's still fun to clamber your way up there and work your way through this massive fake tree that they've built. And then once you get to the top, you do get a very nice view across Fantasyland, bit of Discoveryland in the distance, and of course Sleeping Beauty's castle, which is apparently so much better than Space Mountain.
Haven't I seen? I'm sure I've seen a picture from Cafe Fantasia that is taken from the top of there of the Eiffel Tower.
I think I might have seen that as well. Very small in the distance, but yes. So it's it's worth it for that. And unlike Toy Soldiers, it doesn't look hideous on the skyline.
That's true. It merges well with the existing tree line that's already there in place, even though it is completely fake. It does match the surrounding area. Currently, as we record this, it is actually closed at the moment for refurbishment, even if it's only for a couple of days or a few weeks. So I think they are starting to, as part of the refurbishment plan, they are starting to do some work on the Robinson Family Treehouse to make it a little bit better for guests.
Yeah, I think it does need a bit of a fix-up, but once it's had that, and when you then can pop along and visit it at some point, you'll enjoy it.
It's quite a close result, though.
It is.
Very close, actually. 53%, and it goes to Robinson Family Treehouse, La Cabane de Robinson.
Hooray!
Versus 47% for Aladdin. Well, who would have won in an actual fight between the Robinson family and Aladdin and his crew?
Well, I mean, Aladdin has a genie. Come on.
But he's wished all his powers away.
That's true, but Robin Williams,
There we go. He's won.
trump card.
There we go. If that was a game of trumps, Aladdin just won. So we might have to change the result for round 1. We won't. RC Racer versus Fundamessa Riverboat Landing.
Ooh, well, again, two very difficult to compare attractions, but at least they are both attractions this time.
That is true.
My vote certainly would have gone with the Riverboat Landing. I do love getting on a nice paddle steamer and working my way around the rivers of the West. It's a gorgeous bit of the park. You know, they've spent a long time theming it, designing it. You get to go all the way around Big Thunder Mountain, which is so gorgeous. So that has to win, purely for wonderful theming. RC Racer, it's a bit plastic.
Have you been on it before, though?
No, I think I said earlier because it's often
true.
got a bit of a queue, and half-pipe coasters and pirate ships. My stomach just doesn't like them.
My stomach went absolutely crazy last time I went on there. I did vote for Fundamessa Riverboat Landing, but now I'm thinking about it. Even though it won't change the result, I probably would change my mind now. I probably would actually vote for RC Racer.
Is that because
Go
you've
on.
now seen pictures of the rivers of the Far West drain, and you've realised it's not a real river. It's only about a metre deep.
That's true. I've been totally hoodwinked. I just don't believe anything anymore.
No, I know.
I don't trust
Who would have
Disneyland,
thought that could
Paris.
possibly have been an illusion?
I
Unbelievable.
everything's ruined now. Magic has completely gone.
Never
No,
going back.
The reason I'm changing my mind is because thinking back to when I went onto RC Racer, it was really exhilarating. And to be honest, it was probably one of the biggest thrills in the parks.
Ooh, interesting.
Just because of how fast it goes, and like I say, you kind of go on near vertical drop, but then up, so you're doing it forwards and then backwards as well. And I don't know, it's just I think there was a discussion about this on Twitter, and a lot of people were kind of agreeing with me that it is actually probably one of the most thrilling or even scary rides in the actual parks. Even though it's aimed more at the children end, or maybe the older children, young teenage end of the audience. To be honest, it probably would frighten quite a lot of the younger kids.
Well, I think you could be right with the older teenage end, because I believe it's got a fairly high height restriction.
Yeah, the height
by
restriction
standards.
was quite high, yeah, and I can see why. So I think I was discussing about it being in Toy Story Playland. It looks really good compared to the other attractions in the Toy Story Playland area.
Fair enough.
But it doesn't really meet the criteria of being for young kids. Maybe it's not designed for that in the first place anyway, but it is really an intensive ride. So that's probably why I probably would have went for it if I was going to change my mind. But like I said, it wouldn't have changed the result. It was 68% for Fundamessa Riverboat Landing versus 32% for RC Racer. So Fundamessa Riverboat Landing, even if it's got no water at the moment, is going through to round 2.
It certainly is. And here's a fun one for the next competition: Flying Carpets over Agrabah versus Arcade Alpha and Arcade Beta. Cannot believe they've made it onto the attraction list.
I think they should have went on as separate attractions.
Yeah, well,
It might have.
what are we supposed to? Ooh, do we go Alpha or do we go Beta? Which one do I do? Ooh, I can't choose. I don't know what the difference is.
Well,
Is there a difference?
Is it just one side against the other? I don't know. I think it's just one place, isn't it?
Well, I thought so. I'm confused.
That's what.
Anyway.
Go on.
I'm pretty sure I would have voted Flying Carpets over Agrabah. It's frankly, it's not a good ride in any regard. But it's
Wait,
not a games arcade.
No, it's just the same as Dumbo, though, isn't it?
Well, it is. Which I mean is quite a
and
fun
Orbitron,
ride. But
realistically, it's just the
I
same.
don't like the whole sort of facade backing. You know, there's just a large
Canvas
picture behind
sheet.
it, and they've, of course, being that it's one of the original attractions, it still goes with the this idea that they're filming something, that it's part of a working film set, and the genie's got a megaphone and there's clapboards everywhere.
Yeah,
Which
it just doesn't
I
go with
think
the idea anymore, does it?
Walt Disney Studios is, I think, the park's moving away from that theme now, because it doesn't look great. The queue's pretty ugly as well, because you end up queuing underneath the structure of this picture, but nonetheless it's much better than a games arcade, so got my vote.
But when you go on holiday, especially if you're British, The old-fashioned way of doing things was to go to a games arcade and spend your pocket money.
It's so expensive to get in there. I don't think I've got any pocket money.
There you go. Flying carpets over Agrabah. I haven't done it. I have no intention of doing it, really. And like I say,
that's boring.
It doesn't really fit in with the theme or the idea of Walt Disney Studios anymore. If now we've decided that it's not supposed to be a working studio.
Well, I mean, we've not heard any official word on that. That's just our interpretation of the sort of vague things that they've said.
But if that's
in fairness to the attraction, more than Dumbo, you can tilt the carpet forward and backwards.
Oh, there you
go.
go.
Up and down.
That's changed it. That's changed it.
Well, get on it, to be honest. What are you doing? Just fly over there right now. Get on the carpets.
If it's over Arcade Alpha and Beta and then carpets over Agrabah, it's got to be the flying carpets over Agrabah. And because I'm so good, everybody else agrees with me just about. 84% went for flying carpets over Agrabah and 16% went for Arcade Alpha and Arcade Beta. That again, though, puts Arcade Alpha and Beta over Jedi Academy, over Nautilus, over Toy Story Parachute Drop. It puts it in front of Orbitron.
And I think that just demonstrates how Flying Carpets over Agrabah is really not a particularly respected ride.
That's true. It also shows how unpredictable our polls are, because it depends what attraction comes up against what. So there's no real... If we were to rank them in worst to best, it's not going to be a true reflection, because it does depend on which person's voting and which attraction comes up against what. I'm going to use the English version of this, because my French wasn't that amazing last time. Storybook Land Canal Boats. Okay, Le Pays des Contes de Fées.
Beautiful.
Storybook Land Canal Boats versus Pinocchio's Fantastic Journey. The scary dark ride.
Well, I mean, you're right. Pinocchio is a bit scary. I quite like that. You know, I like the darkness. I like the sort of not quite glow in the dark, but sort of, you know, fluorescent paint that you see around there. I think that's quite fun. However, my vote was always going to go with Storybook Canal Boats, because I don't know why. I just think it's a sort of hidden gem. It's like the little cousin of It's a Small World. It's tucked away. Everyone forgets about it. It's never got a queue. Fine. It's nothing sort of... It's not a grand vision ride, but it's really nice to just sit on a little boat and go around all of the pretty models that aren't very well kept, but nonetheless pretty models. And then, you get to go through Aladdin's cave and whatnot, and that's fun. And you've got Casey Jr., that's what I'm trying to say, whizzing around the area. I've just always really liked it for no apparent reason. So that definitely had my vote. Root for the underdog.
There you go. I think I would have voted for Pinocchio. Even though I have every time I go to Storybook Land Canal Boats, I'll give it its full title. When you queue in and you go up the steps and you're over that little bridge onto the platform that spins round, when you're loading on the boats, there's always somebody that nearly falls in. From my experience of queuing up for that attraction.
So it's a dangerous attraction, is what we're trying to say.
Yeah, because isn't the loading area, doesn't that spin round as the boats move as well, and you need to kind of jump in while it's spinning round?
Yeah, it's like a river raft ride, so the platform moves around. But I mean, in fact, at the same pace as the thing you're trying to board. So in theory, you're getting on something which is stationary.
But if
that's not quite how it works.
No, because if you
disorientating.
If you haven't got very good spatial awareness and your balance is rubbish to begin with, and then it's wet and it's a bit rainy because it's just before they're going to close the attraction because of the rain, then it does make to a bad concoction. And a couple of people do have near misses, from my experience anyway. I haven't nearly fell in, but I've watched people who have had to be helped in because they would have fell in.
Yeah. Well, clearly though, not that many people have had near misses.
That's
and
true.
Not that many people have fallen in, because it did win against Pinocchio's Fantastic Journey. So that's 64% to Storybook Land Canal Boats versus 36% to Pinocchio, which I think is fair enough, and I would of course agree with it, because I love Le Pays de Contes de Fées. It's great. Oh, I know that's the Carousel de Lancelot.
That's the theme tune I was trying to do.
It is brilliant.
Obviously, it was Carousel de Lancelot versus Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril. Maybe I'll be shocked for this one as well, but Carousel de Lancelot, just really like any other carousel ride you would get at any theme park or at visiting fun fair.
That might be true, but it does play some fun carouselized Disney music, which I always think is quite fun. Yeah, to sort of stand by it and just go, hang on, right, what's this one? Oh, Cinderella.
It does add to the sounds, even though, well, I was going to say smells as well, but it doesn't. It adds to the sounds of Disneyland Paris.
It doesn't smell.
Well, if it does, them horses need a bit of cleaning.
Yeah. I mean, of course, Indiana Jones is going to get my vote. It's a roller coaster. It was the roller coaster that was brought in because effectively it was felt that the Disneyland park was a bit boring in terms of roller coasters when it opened. So it opened a year after the resort initially opened. It was a sort of quick fire. Oh my God, we haven't got Space Mountain yet. Quickly build something. And was the first inversion ever in a Disney theme park attraction.
Yeah, it was supposed to be temporary, wasn't it, as well? That's why it was closed recently, so they turned some of the polystyrene scenery into a more rough and ready permanent bit of scenery. I do remember actually riding it when it went backwards, and I remember doing it backwards, but I can't remember if it's any different. I remember not liking not seeing where I was going, even though I was kind of contradicting myself because I did like Space Mountain and Rock and Roller Coaster in the dark because you can't really see what's going on. But when you go backwards and you're not sure when that loop's coming, and you know you can see yourself going into it, it does actually add a thrill to that attraction. So it is sad that it doesn't go backwards anymore. I'm quite surprised at how much that must have cost to have adapted the track and the cars or the trains to make it do that.
Well, it did, yeah. I mean, the trains is a fairly simple job. They just sort of lift it up off the cart wheels and they just smack it down in the other direction. But they actually removed bits of track and put in new bits where some of the sharper bends were, because obviously if you're going backwards, you can't see the bend, you can't then prepare for the bend. So corners had to be made a bit more smooth. I didn't go on it. I didn't get the opportunity to go on it when it was backwards, unfortunately. I think might have been too young then, but I'd hate to say that.
Just to make me feel old.
Yeah, exactly. Whoops. But anyway,
you're sacked.
I always feel right now that it's quite a fast ride, considering it doesn't look that bad, but it's quite intense. I always feel, considering there's loads of brakes as well everywhere. You always seem to be going on some flat section where there's brakes. I don't think they use any of them. It's remarkably fast.
I can imagine as well, while the refurbishments are going on, I can imagine the ride, the guest flow will probably increase in the next year or so.
I think more people will be wanting to go on
especially as Rock and Roller Coaster will be down for a little bit, and obviously Big Thunder Mountain's down. So if you're a roller coaster fan and you like a bit of theming outside as well, then that's probably the next best thing. If you don't mind a more intense roller coaster attraction. So I can imagine it will be a lot busier in the next year or so. It did win. It was 67% versus 33%, so the roller coaster fans got in there and stole another victory off another classic, really.
Yeah, exactly. It's interesting to see that the classics aren't necessarily doing that well, particularly as you say, that one being a sort of a last minute, quickly build that. But anyway, another not classic versus another. Oh, actually, I suppose it's not really a classic either, thinking about it. But anyway, Cars Quatre Roues Rallier. I don't know how you're meant to pronounce that. I don't speak French. Versus Le Dernier Rallye, is it? Okay. Oh, dear. Well, I'm having a French lesson today from an IT teacher. I did not expect this. Versus Le Dernier du Dragon. Are you happy with that? Is that good?
Dragon.
Very good. Wow. We're gonna get like tweets coming in going, "You're both idiots. You can't speak French. What are you doing?"
And there'll be loads of French people who listen to this because we're talking about Disneyland in Paris.
Because we're talking about in France. I know. So
no
embarrassing.
No one told me that.
English people.
No one told me it was in France.
Ah, dear. You just get on the train in London and you just end up there. We have no idea where we are.
I step on the transport and then end up there.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we know. That's all we know. But anyway, so I was of course thinking that Le Tanier du Dragon is some sort of classic, but it's not. It's only really in Paris. I don't think
it's unique.
Anywhere else has a dragon underneath a castle, because I suppose it's not Sleeping Beauty's castle anywhere else.
I would have voted
frankly,
for...
I think one of them is a classy walkthrough, and the other one is, just a side thing that I always forget exists.
Yeah, the Cars one, again, it surely was cheap, cheerful, and it's a great, easy way of getting the Cars franchise into the park. Especially when in California you've obviously got the Cars Land, whatever it's called.
I was just about to mention that. They're Radiator Springs.
Springs, that's it, yeah.
Disney California Adventure just looks amazing. It was a bit of the park that they had to demolish a lot of the car park to build. I think they've got like underground park or something now. But anyway, Disney California Adventure was a sort of failing park, really. Right next to the original Disneyland park, they built this park that just wasn't working. So as a thing to give it more life and give it more energy, they built Radiator Springs with a fantastic test track style attraction of cars, and you can walk all the way down Radiator Springs and feel like you're in the film Cars, which is one of my favorite films. I love it, as a boy growing up. Oh my god, talking cars, it was great. But yes, our Cars thing feels like we could have had something so much better now. And in fact, what I'd really love them to do, what I really, really would love them to do, is just demolish that and then build us a Radiator Springs somewhere. That would be so good.
Yeah, you couldn't really fit Radiator Springs on that footprint, though, could you? So it would have to be somewhere else.
You could do it in miniature, but it would defeat the object.
How patronising would that be if we had a miniature Radiator Springs brought in from California?
It's just a model for us to look at. Wow, isn't this theming really good?
Star Wars Land is opening in Disneyland Paris, but it's just a little miniature model version.
Just a model. We've put it in the middle of Pizza Planet, where you'd really like to see a Mos Eisley Cantina. We're going to give you a model of Star Wars Land, so you can look at it.
With the Dragon Under the Castle, I'm surprised at maybe not surprised. Not as many people know it's there as I would believe. I know it's got quite a lot of votes in this poll from Disneyland Paris fans. But again, when I'm going on trips with different visitors, different friends and family and guests and students, if I mention it or say "come with me," they're amazed that didn't know it was there.
It's very easy to miss, and it's a real shame because when that dragon was built, it was the largest single animatronic ever made, and it's just so cool to go down in there when it's dark and it's eerie, and then you see the dragon's eyes light up and a bit of smoky breath comes out. It's just a very nice place. It's one of those things that makes a Disney theme park better than any other theme park. And
I think the fact that not many people know it's there, or a little less people know it's there than a lot of people know, I think it adds to it as well. Like when you find it's there, you're like, whoa, this is amazing. Or if you tell people that didn't know it was there, it kind of adds to the magic. Oh, we didn't know that was there. So I think it's best that they don't advertise it as an attraction to go to. They do have signposts around the side, and there is little notices out and about. But I think if they were to put it on some kind of attraction list, or say, come and see the dragon under the castle, I kind of think it would kind of ruin it.
I'm pretty sure there are attraction posters for it on Main Street, like the nice old-fashioned original ones. I think it is advertised there.
Does anybody use those? Yeah, they're nice, and it adds to the atmosphere and it adds to the effect. But I don't think anybody looks at those and says, "Right, I've seen that attraction.
Right, I've planned my day.
I'm going to that one now."
But it did win though.
It did win
75
yeah.
to 25, and a good win. I'm happy for it. Sorry, Cars.
Not the best attraction, but still better than some of the others. For example, Arcade Alpha and Arcade
Alpha and Beta.
There you go. Billy Bob's Wild West Show. Oh, no, so not Billy Bob's. What's it called? Wild Bills. Buffalo Bills. That's him. Buffalo Bills Wild West Show versus Meet Mickey. Have you met Mickey while you've been in Disneyland Paris?
I have, but I don't think ever at the Meet Mickey. Would you call it a pavilion? I'm not sure. And neither have I seen Buffalo Bill's Wild West Show.
No,
so
I haven't.
This one's down to you, Andrew.
I've met Mickey at Meet Mickey, and I've never been to the Buffalo Bills Wild West Show. The reason I haven't been to the Buffalo Bills Wild West Show is mainly due to times. Well, I've been there. If I'm only there for 2 days in the park, then I feel that if I go there one evening, It kind of would take
a lot
up
of
a
time
lot of
gone.
time, yeah. Although I suppose you are eating at the same time, so you're kind of getting an attraction and eating, whereas normally you would go to an attraction, then you would leave and go to get something to eat, and then go back to the park or back to your hotel. So I suppose
Well, I
you
don't
kind
know,
of merging
but you
two
could
things
say
together.
Blue Lagoon
Oh, well, that's
is
true.
experiencing an attraction while also eating.
That is true. And I suppose Bistro Chez Remy as well, now, kind of...
Yeah, in terms of theming, but I mean, you can't
you're not
see
in the attraction, no.
people in Ratmobiles whizzing
Well,
around.
you can see them exiting the Ratmobiles.
That's true, I suppose.
Meet Mickey, all I can remember is my son crying, so we kind of ran through the Meet Mickey section. We actually spent most time in the queue area, as you normally do for an attraction, but they showed on the screen, like the theatre screen there, lots of old classic Mickey Mouse cartoons from way back. So that was actually quite good, and my son really enjoyed watching them. But then I think he got so excited and so built up for it that when he finally did meet Mickey Mouse close up, he just went crazy and cried his eyes out. But I still would have voted it because, again, it's a memory that will stick in my head, even if the photograph of him and Mickey Mouse is me smiling, looking very happy, and then my son just crying his eyes out in fear. But that was actually one of the first characters we met, and after we shocked him so much then, when we're seeing Minnie Mouse and Pluto and all them inventions, he was fine. So I probably, I suppose when you're teaching a baby to swim, just chuck him in the deep end. They'll soon get used to it.
Exactly.
That isn't a parenting tip from me, by the way. It was a close one though. And to be honest, I'm actually quite surprised on the actual result, just because of you can meet Mickey Mouse relatively quite easily, because he's in different shows. Like I say, he's in the hotels as well, depending on where you're staying. But obviously, Mickey Mouse is kind of the main reason why everything's happening. I know there's an original Mouse which happened before Mickey Mouse appeared in Steamboat Willie. Like I say, everybody who knows Disney knows it for Mickey Mouse originally, and to get the chance to see him in his own attraction is quite a big draw. And he did win 53% over Buffalo Bill's Wild West show at 47%, and that was really, really close, and it could have went either way, really, couldn't it?
Certainly could have done, but well done, Mickey.
Well done, sir.
And then next up, the amazing attraction that is Pirates Beach.
Bring your beach towel. Sorry, I spoke over you then. I was going to say bring your beach towels. Pirates Beach and your beach towels versus Animagique.
I always forget Pirates Beach is a thing.
Well, officially it is. It's just a bit of fake sand, isn't it?
Well, that's true. And of course, Animagique won't be here much longer.
That'll be a bit of fake sand as well.
Exactly. I mean, my vote, obviously. However, nice Pirates Beach is, and the whole sort of galleon adventure isle around Pirates of the Caribbean. However nice that is, and it is very well themed. Animagique is a proper attraction. With a story and a show and a catchy, annoying theme tune, as all good Disney attractions should have. So it got my vote.
And there's nothing much to say other than, yeah, that got my vote. It did win, 73% versus 27%. There's nothing much to say there, really, because it's a Pirate Beach area versus an actual attraction which won't be there for much longer.
Very true. But the Pirates return with Pirate Galleon in the next round of voting versus Cinemagique.
Now, I'm sure I've seen videos of Smee and Captain Hook and Peter Pan having lots of fun on the Pirate Galleon. And I also remember seeing pictures from a few years ago of it looking so run down and so rotting away. But they have done quite a nice job at restoring it, and the paintwork is lovely, and it does actually look like a really nice. It looks amazing when you look at Skull Rock and the Pirate Galleon in the photographs, and it does make a good picture of that.
And I think
area.
It will look even better very shortly. Well, I say very shortly, in many, many, many months' time, when they have finished the refurb of the Adventure Isle area. That will all look, nice and spick and span. So it will look even better then. But Cinemagique, that again is a proper attraction. It's a homage to the many, many films that Hollywood has produced, and of course also has the lovely George involved, and we love George.
Good old George.
I'm not sure there's anything else to be said about Cinemagique, really, just George.
Good
and
old.
If
There
if
we
you've
go.
not seen it, you'll be completely confused about who George is. Even if you can't remember his name, you'll know who we're talking about. You'll know the man.
76% went to Cinemagique.
Hooray!
Did you notice the little pause there just to make people think it was Pirate Galleon?
Could have been the Pirate Galleon.
He got a better percentage than I thought he was going to get, though.
It's true.
Although, like I said, it's if you're taking pictures around Adventure Island, if you're taking pictures in Adventureland, then it's going to be in your pictures. It's going to be one of those pictures you need to take. So that's probably why it's got a few fans out there.
Mm-hmm.
Panoramagique versus Les Astropod Services Interstellaire.
Also known as the Exit Star Tours.
The Exit to Star Tours with a couple of arcade games.
I don't understand how you can have arcade games there and have the dedicated Arcade Alpha and Arcade Beta.
Yeah, it's obviously... to be honest, the result shows that this is actually the weakest of the two different arcade areas, according to our fans out there.
That's very true.
Have you been up?
2%.
Have you been up on Panoramagique?
I haven't had the opportunity to. To be honest, again, whenever I'm there, I just want to spend the time in the parks, and you have to. I don't spend much time in Disney Village. I don't like it. I think it's quite ugly.
You have to pay for it as well.
Yeah,
because I think it's run by a separate company probably. So it's a five. I think it's. Is it 10? I can't remember. 5 to 10 euros. I think the charges. If you like,
that's not too bad.
No,
actually,
if you like taking
in terms of how these
pictures.
things are.
If you like architecture and you like park layouts, it's definitely a recommended attraction, definitely once in your lifetime. I've done it once. It was a very calm day, so it wasn't windy at all, and it didn't really move around. It's a weird sensation. I'm not scared of heights, and I don't mind going up in balloons and stuff like that, but it is a really weird sensation. But the views are really spectacular. Apart from when you look around and you can see the train station and the massive car park there. Kind of ruins it a little bit, but obviously it needs to be there, and it's such a great facility for the guests. But yeah, the view from up there is quite spectacular, actually.
Well, it must be, because Panoramagique won with 86% to just 14% for the Exit of Star Tours.
I love how you're calling it the Exit of Star Tours.
Partly because I don't want to speak the French again, Andrew.
Quite a lot of people didn't really know where it was. We've got a few questions for that poll. What are you talking about? Where is this attraction? Why have I not heard of it?
Is it fair to call it an attraction?
No.
I'm not sure it is. There's some talk that maybe it will become a Star Wars gift shop, or maybe a meet and greet.
Yeah.
After the refurbishment to Star Wars 2. I certainly hope so. I think sort of arcadey stuff is a bit down market for Disney, to be honest, and also the more Star Wars, the better.
This next one is probably one of the weakest polls we did in the whole round of attraction votes.
And a landslide as that.
Well, there is a landslide in there as well. To be honest, I wish there was a landslide over part of it. Pocahontas Indian Village versus Adventure Isle. Adventure Isle is a big part of Adventureland, so I can see... Well, it is an attraction. It is a nice area. Again, I know I've mentioned him a few times recently in podcasts, but Steve from Dedicated DLP, he goes on about Adventure Isle quite a lot, about the caves and how interactive they can be. So
and I think he's right.
He is. I would have voted for Adventure Isle, and it is a nice thing. We've lost many a student over the years in Adventure Isle. Some on purpose, some by accident. So I can see why it got 94% of the voting compared to 6% of Pocahontas Indian Village, which is always closed, and kids probably end up just breaking their arms and legs from not playing on there properly anyway.
It's very true. I mean, I do want to just say, I like Adventure Island. I think it's fantastic. I think, again, it's another one of these areas where it makes the Disneyland theme park experience stand out against any other theme park. It might not be an attraction. I think a lot of people probably don't go there, but it is really fun to go around the caves. It's very fun because there's some signage there, but if you follow the signs, you never get to where you want to go. They seem completely pointless. You just randomly turn up on a bridge and you'll be like, I've been at this bridge, but it's always fun running across the bridges, and then you step on one board on the bridge and it feels like it's going to break, and then you get really worried that you're going to die, but you never do. It's always fine. And then, of course, you then spend the next hour trying to find your way out again. But nonetheless, it's great. It's very, very pretty. There are some wonderful photo opportunities. If you can find your way out to the back, where there's another little pool with a sort of sunken ship in it and a bridge joining across, then that's a lovely photo opportunity, and most people don't find their way to that. So I would highly recommend that, and I'm glad Adventure Isle won.
Yeah, it deserves to go through to round 2. Motorz Action versus Meet Spider-Man.
I think an easy one. I love cars, I love pyrotechnics, I love stunts.
Yeah,
Action's brilliant.
I love film. It still follows the backstage kind of theme that Walt Disney Studios started off as. I would be sad if it leaves the park like it's going to in America. Obviously, they stole the version Motorz Action from Paris, as it was so successful. Every time I'm there, even on the low season, it always grabs a full capacity just about, and it takes so many people out of the park, so you can get onto Rock and Roller Coaster with hardly any queue time. So even for that reason alone, that's definitely a vote from me.
Yeah, it's a fantastic car stunt show. They have, I believe, removed some of the stunts, and there's a strange scene with Lightning McQueen that really doesn't fit with the whole car stunt show thing. But I still think it's a fantastic stunt show nonetheless. I can remember having a lot of arguments with my parents over whether they should show you how they do the stunts, because obviously it's all tricks, it's all illusions. There's not actually a backwards driving car, but I think it's really cool that they show you all the tricks. They show you that there's a guy sat on the outside of the car that you can't see that's actually driving one of them. Yes, I think it's a fantastic stunt show, and as much as people love Marvel and Spider-Man, it's a meet and greet's never gonna beat a fantastic live stunt show.
No, and again, obviously they're using their new brand that they purchased in Marvel, their new subsidiary company, to use the license for Meet Spider-Man. It's another nice place to meet and greet a new character. I personally would like it if they changed it up, so like maybe on a rolling, can't think of the word now, schedule, and maybe change the character that's in there. So rather than it be just Meet Spider-Man, maybe it would be like a Marvel meet and greet, where it's like on a rotation. Maybe that would spice up a little bit.
Well, I think so, definitely. But nonetheless, Motorz Action, bit of a landslide victory, 73% to 27% for Meet Spider-Man.
Quite surprised at the next one, because again, is it really an attraction? Studio One in Walt Disney Studios versus Stitch Live.
So if you don't remember, Studio One is the entrance bit that you walk through, sort of nighttime. It's all Hollywoody. Some people moan about this. Some people say, it's not big enough. Oh, it's like a cheap, crap Main Street. Well, I have to disagree with them. I think it's one of the nicer parts of the park. I like that it's, very 1920s, 30s Hollywood glitz and glamour. I like that. I like that it's sort of at nighttime. I think it's a nice contrast. It's not very big. It's not that exciting, but I like it nonetheless.
Yeah, I remember I voted for Studio One, and the reason I put on Twitter was my first ever visit to Walt Disney Studios. I remember walking through those giant doors, and I was just amazed from what I've seen. Obviously, I've seen I didn't look at the fast food area that was to my right, but the neon lights inside, the nice little shops on the left-hand side as you go in, how vast the space was. And it just drew my breath away, and from that moment, it's always stuck with me. So it's always going to be a place I enjoy, especially because you have to walk through there to get into Walt Disney Studios Park anyway. So I look forward to that part of it, and that would always get my vote, I think, especially over Stitch Live. I've never done it before. I've never really been a fan of Lilo and Stitch the film, so it's not really one.
Rude.
Sorry, it's not really one I want to do.
Stitch is a wonderful character. I mean, not that I think I'd fit in very well in the Stitch Live experience, but
It was quite a close one though, 53% for Studio One versus 47% for Stitch Live, so a few people on both sides of the fence there.
I have to say, I think that's it's a bit of a disappointing one for Studio One, to be honest. I think it shows that it's clearly not a particularly strong entrance to the park. I really like it, as I've said, but obviously a lot of people don't particularly.
We're down to our final 2 polls. We've done all these last polls on the same day because I wanted to get this done for this podcast. So we've got horse-drawn streetcars versus Discovery Arcade.
Well, easy one for me because I absolutely love Discovery Arcade. They, of course, have the 2 arcades in Paris where I don't think they have them in any other Disneyland parks.
No.
They're guest flow measures really just to get people in and out of the park a bit smoother because obviously Main Street gets clogged up itself. But Discovery Arcade carries on with that fantastic Victorian retro-futuristic theme that I love so much about Discoveryland. So just to walk down there and see all of the beautiful little bits of theming, the artwork that they've got for futuristic cities of tomorrow, of course, though, from Victorian times. I love it all. Makes me so happy.
Yeah, if I was going to be forced down one arcade, it would have to be Discovery Arcade every time.
To be honest, I would happily choose Discovery Arcade over Main Street just because I just love that style of theming so much, and I really wish they had the money and the will to make sure that all of Discoveryland had that full Jules Verne style theming, because I think it's fantastic.
I am surprised by the result, though. How many people have went on the horse-drawn streetcars, seeing as there's probably only 1 streetcar and 1 horse at the time? 37% voted for the horse-drawn streetcars. Luckily, our Discovery Arcade did win, but with 63%. I was surprised that it was that big of a result for the horse-drawn cars there. 37% is quite a big number.
It is, I suppose, though. It's nice to have live animals around the park. It's fun to see them.
Apart from when the buffalo are escaping Buffalo Bill's Wild West show and running around Disney Village.
Running around Disney Village. I mean, it might improve Disney Village. I've always found it a bit dull. So actually, having to run for my life might spice things up.
And our other arcade was in the final voting of round 1. It was Liberty Arcade versus Rustler Roundup Shooting. Yeehaw!
Do we call either of them arcades? I've never done Rustler Roundup Shooting. I'm not much of a shooting person, and actually my sister raised an interesting question because Disney parks have recently banned all toy guns in the park, so they won't be selling them anymore. She said to me, "Well, does that mean that something like Buzz Lightyear would close, or any of the shooting points?" Clearly not. They're not going to close anything like Buzz Lightyear or Toy Story Midway Mania, but that is an interesting one about the shooting galleries, actually, because they're trying to send a particular message.
It's very true. I don't think many people would miss it if it wasn't there anymore. It's something you do in passing, or if unless there is a fan out there who does go specifically to Frontierland for that attraction. If you are that person, let us know.
Let us know, yeah. It's not going to happen.
I don't think we'll be doing a podcast on that attraction anytime soon. Simon, do you?
Maybe that should be the April Fool's Day.
I only know one fact about it. If you're with your massive camera with a flash, if you take a flash photo in front of all the sensors while someone's playing the game, it activates all of the targets. So all of the effects go off at the exact same time, like you've shot them all at once.
That's so clever. I'm going to try that.
I'm not sure if
obviously
there's a
not.
video.
I would never. I'm not a hooligan. I wouldn't do it.
I'm not sure if you can find a video. I did see it somewhere though. If you search on YouTube, I bet you can find it somewhere.
That sounds fabulous.
That's what you'll be doing straight after this recording.
Really up for that.
And
as for Liberty Arcade, I suppose we should talk about it.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Because it's frankly better than the shooting gallery. Not as good as Discovery Arcade. I've just really fanboyed over Discovery Arcade, I now realise in hindsight. But Liberty Arcade's alright as well. It's the nice throwback again to the fact that Disneyland is all about the American dream. And it has that really, really creepy scene on a boat in the middle. You do find... Am I the only one that finds that creepy?
To be honest, I don't really remember walking down Liberty Arcade very often.
Well, if halfway down Liberty Arcade, there's an entrance to it from Main Street, right in the middle, and if you turn left there,
yes,
or turn right, depending which way you're going, there's a little inside point where you go in, and there's a sort of a tableau scene with a boat, and there are some characters from, I suppose, around the sort of American Civil War, like Lincoln, Jefferson, and the like. And they're sort of like ghosts, and they appear and disappear. And I'm sure it means something to Americans, but my American history is not that hot, and I just find the ghost characters really creepy.
You've now got me thinking. I can't remember. I've definitely walked down it. I must have, but I can't really remember it at all.
I would say Google it, but I doubt anyone has ever really taken the time. I mean, I'm sure an American in the park would absolutely love it. You know, in the American parks, they have a big thing about like the Hall of Presidents and Liberty Square. That's a big deal. But obviously, in France and Europe, it doesn't really mean anything to us.
I'll have to make sure I go left instead of right this time.
Yeah.
That's my plan. I'm going to try and get onto Crush's Coaster and go down Liberty Arcade, because I always go down Discovery Arcade instead.
Let's see the creepy ghost thing. Anyway, though, Liberty Arcade did win by a landslide. 92% versus 8.
And that ended round 1.
It did.
So I'm going to quickly go over the attractions that are in round 2. Mad Hatter's Teacups is into the next round. Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Peter Pan's Flight, because we got in there twice. Big Thunder Mountain, Disney Railroad, It's a Small World, Rock and Roller Coaster, Pirates of the Caribbean, Ratatouille the Adventure, Dumbo the Flying Elephant, Buzz Lightyear, Disney Dreams, Phantom Manor, Tram Tour, Sleeping Beauty Castle, Crush's Coaster, Princess Pavilion, Le Caban de Robesan, Thunder Mesa Riverboat Landing, Flying Carpets over Agrabah, Storybook Land Canal Boats, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Peril, The Dragon Under the Castle, because I don't want to say it in French, Meet Mickey, Animagique, Cinemagique, Panoramagique. That's a bit of a coincidence, they all came out very close to each other. Adventure Isle, Motels Action, Studio One, Discovery Arcade, and Liberty Arcade. They're the ones that went through. A few little statistics of the attractions that are in round 2. 21 out of the 32 that went through were from Disneyland Park, and 10 were from Walt Disney Studio, and one of them from Disney Village, if it does count as an attraction. So that means 65% of all attractions that are into the next round are from the Disneyland Park.
I have to say, I would have thought it might have been a higher percentage.
That's why I wanted to put that stat on there. Just shows that there's a bit of a balance, because obviously Disneyland Park has a lot more attractions in it than Walt Disney Studios. So it's quite surprising that 31% of the attractions into the next round are from the Walt Disney Studios.
Well, yes. I mean, we will have to see how many survive the coming rounds, though, because I should think there might be some close ties now, because there's not many weird attractions left in there. Not many at all.
No. Because we've lost a couple of good attractions. The ones we've lost are Slinky Dog, Alice's Curious Labyrinth, Autopia, Casey Jr., Art of Disney Animation, Snow White, Orbitron, Peter Pan's Flight, even though Peter Pan's Flight went through. Star Tours, Armageddon, Toy Soldiers, Parachute Drop, Jedi Academy, Nautilus, Discoveryland Theatre, the best theatre in the world. Biggest loss of the round 1 was Space Mountain. Main Street Vehicles, Disney Junior Live, Aladdin's Passage, as it was down on the Twitter poll, RC Racer, Arcade Alpha and Arcade Beta, Pinocchio. We've also lost Carousel de Lancelot, Cars Rally, Buffalo Bills Wild West Show, Pirates Beach, Pirate Galleon, The Exit of Star Tours, Pocahontas Indian Village, Meet Spider-Man, Stitch Live, Horse-Drawn Streetcars, and Rustler Roundup Shooting have all been evicted from the Disneyland Paris attraction poll. Time to end it there for this episode. Simon, have you got anything you would like to say to our lovely listeners before we go?
How dare you get rid of Space Mountain? Thank you.
If you want to see a roundup of all of those results, and we'll also put on the attraction winners of round 2 on our website, you can visit www.magicaldlp.co.uk/attraction poll. There are a few exciting matchups in the next round. One of them, which we've kind of discussed quite close together, is Arcade's Discovery Arcade and Liberty Arcade. They're up against each other. So that would be an interesting one. But I think even from our discussion tonight, you probably know which way we will vote. So, I don't want to give you too many other ones that are already being decided because of the wonderful voting platform I put together. But Rock and Roller Coaster is up against Pirates of the Caribbean again.
I think I know which way that'll go. I think Pirates will probably take that, but that'll be an interesting one to see.
It'd be interesting to see if now in round 2 the voting actually becomes closer. You would hope.
I expect it to. Another one I expect to be close will be Crush's Coaster versus Indiana Jones. I think that'll be very tight.
It is. So watch out for that one on Twitter. If you want to vote and you're not on Twitter, sadly you can't. But if you've got any opinions, let us know via email at podcast@magicaldlp.co.uk. Message us on Twitter. We're on Facebook. Visit our website, magicaldlp.co.uk. I told you the address, didn't I? Remember, you can vote. I might even put our links to some of our votes on the website as well. So check the rounds, check the attraction history on magicaldlp.co.uk/attraction poll. Thanks for joining us. Before we go, I completely forgot about iTunes. We've got no reviews this time since our last readout from the Big Thunder Mountain episode. So if you are listening to us on iTunes and you haven't left us a nice 5-star review, what are you waiting for? Get on there. The more 5-star reviews we get, the more chance we have of this podcast being a regular occurrence, because it means that if there's more people listening and more people wanting it, I'll feel more pressured into getting my calendar sorted out, because I am a busy boy.
I mean, it's supply and demand, really, isn't it?
That's exactly what
demand.
It is.
You and I will step up and do our job.
Thanks for joining us again for episode 10. We haven't decided what we're going to be doing next, so we'll get an announcement out there on Twitter, on Facebook, on our website. If you've got any suggestions of what you would like us to discuss, we might read them, we might not. We might just pick what we would like to do ourselves. But you let us know, and if we'd like the sound of it, we will definitely have a go and try and record a podcast for you. So thank you very much. It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye.